Hello and welcome to AGT Racer. As you can tell, I'm not Grim, but I'll be taking round 7 of Tokyo in the Drivers' Room Endurance Championship. As we take a look at the points, we can see that Nijogger leads the championship after Plux didn't show for round 6. We've got Muller on 73 points in 3rd and Gadget in 4th after a win last time, and then Ed in 5th. Let's see what happened in the race. So as we take a look at the grid, we've got Plux on pole in the Made for Racing Pepsi car. He's starting the race on racing mediums. And he's going to be trying to chase down Nijogger's lead in the championship. In second we've got Muller. He's starting on the racing hards in the BMW, followed by Daz in 3rd. A very good qualifying from Daz. He's starting the race also on the racing hards in the Lamborghini. We've got Jules making his 2nd start of the championship, again in the Group 4 Nissan. He's racing on hard tyres to start. Now here's V8. He's starting in 5th position on the Racing Supersoft, so expecting to make moves early. We've got Gadget starting on mediums in the Bugatti for the Team Sigma car. Manguinho starting as he usually does on racing hard tyres. But a good qualifying from him. Knee down in 8th in the Atenza. Followed by Wilkinator, who's making a wildcard start. Fours down the grid a little bit, but we're starting on racing softs, look for him making moves early. We've got Canny in the Nissan, he's starting on medium tyres. And you've got Grim himself, starting on soft tyres. Mac, who did qualify further up the grid. And then Ben and Jammy at the back. So as we get away now, it's Plux making a good start off the line, followed by Muller. Jules has got a great start. Daz, however, falling back through the field. They go 4 wide now as we come through to the first corner. See Plux is away safely. The fast starting Audi you can see there at V8 on the super soft tyres. Jump through the field, we see Gadget stuck out on the outside. But he hasn't lost any positions. It's Daz who's lost a load of time off the start. Fours has made a great start. He's right tucked in the slipstream with Gadget, but he's boxed in. We have to see if he can make anything happen. You see at the back of the field, not too much movement yet. Looks like Nijogger's had a bad start. Oh, blimey, that's a huge shunt. What happened there to Mungino and Fours, and it looks like Daz as well. And Jules caught up in that as well. It's a terrible start for him. Those at the front though seem to get away. V8 Vendetta seems to be the big winner out of that. Get back away. We'll have to take a look again. So we see the front of the field got through clean, but we'll take a look again now at the start, see what happened to Mungino. We're riding on board with him now. He had a great stuff up to 4th. He's got V8 behind him. As we ride now looking backwards, we'll be able to see what happened. Looks like a bit of a Constantina effect, I would assume. So coming down, 2nd fastest point of the track. First time into the first heavy braking zone. Oh, we can see there's just a pinball effect and Fours gets punted. That's awful for Mungino. As we carry on now through lap 1, we see Plux followed by Muller, followed by V8, followed by Gadget, followed by Jammy, Grim, Canny and Rourke. Max up to 9th, but Jammy seems to be the biggest winner of all at the start. He started, remember, at the very back and he's up to 5th place. Jules and Fours after their incident in the first lap. Going through side by side through the tunnel. And this should have the power. Oh, Fours touches the wall there. So heading down to the hairpin. Grim, a good start up from near the back, up to 8th, but he's under attack now. Wilkinator making his 1 race wild card here at Tokyo. So we're back on board with Plux now. Go through the tricky last sector. It's all very fast, but those walls are very close. Going through the final corner now, we've got Muller in 2nd, chased down by V8, who's on those super soft tyres, remember, so it's going to be fast at the beginning of the stint, but his tyres will drop off and he'll have to pit first. Oh my word, there's a hell of a pack here in the midfield. Looks like some cars are out of position, and that has caused a bit of a bunching up through the tight twisty section. But Kenny up to 6th. That's a fantastic start for him. Remembering he started down in 11th position and he's on the medium tyres, which means he'll get a good long stint. Max made a good start, of course. Max should have been starting on the front row, but due to a known bug in Gran Turismo, he lost his qualifying time and fell down to the back, managed to keep out of trouble, and he's moved on quite well. So looking back, seeing how V8 got past. I know this is like V8 under pressure from Miller, but now on the middle of lap 2. What's gone on here? Oh, we see Miller touching the wall there. Ah, this is V8 getting that move done on Miller. Down the inside in the heavy braking zone. He's got more grip, remember, because of those supers. He's making good use of them. See if he can chase down Plux, if those tyres will hold on. Miller's still all over the back of him. And Gadget's not far behind, lurking if there's any issues. And you see Jammy back there as well. He's had a great start. As we ride on board now with Gadget, Miller touches the wall. Now he's going to have the run. Of course, the Veyron not very good in the corners, but very stable, very good on the brakes thanks to its air brake. And mighty powerful down the straight. We're watching back now. He's already got the move done. Can he keep hold of that slipstream to V8 and maybe close in quickly? It does look that way. He's pulling away from that BMW very quickly. Maybe some fuel saving going on. Gran Turismo Sport is the first Gran Turismo where fuel mapping exists and can be used, and some cars will be using this as to an advantage. Jammy had a great start down in 5th. Wilk up to 6th. That's a fantastic start, but Mac all the way through down the inside. Nice move, and now he can set a bike catching up to the leaders after that unfortunate drop to the back start. We look back now. Ben, haven't really talked about Ben much. He was very unlucky in the Tsukuba round where he had good pace, but a series of incidents caused him to fall to the back. I'm talking of incident, there's Mongino down in 14th. Daz a long way back in 15th. Looks like he's had some issues outside of the car. He's not got any pace, it looks like. So we're back at the front. Plux has just set a new fastest lap time on lap 2 through turn 1 smoothly. At this point he's just going to want to pull away slowly from the rest of the field. As we see, we've got Miller and Jammy. Jammy's closing in on Miller slightly as we head down the hill towards the dockyard section. There's Mac, Wilk being dragged along behind him. Maybe you'll have a look. Try and get that position back. He can, he's looking for it. Down the inside. Can he make it stick? No, he had to pull out of it, but he has forced Mac a little wide. Can he stick his nose in? He has done so, but Mac's going to have the speed around the outside. That could be a little cut he had there. Strong penalties are on. If you cut through that dock section, you'll have a big penalty. There's the championship leader, Knee Jogger, down in 8th, being harassed by Canny, but he is on the hard tyres. We'll be running long as we go on board now with Canny. Sorry, with Knee Jogger, looking back at Canny. We've got a better exit through that corner, as you can see. And the Nissan pull itself up onto the back of that Atenza and go for it down the inside. It's going to have to watch out for cars behind as well. And you see Grim in the Mustang, which is very good down the straight as well. It's been a very close battle in the midfield and towards the back. The front. Oh, there was a touch there between Knee Jogger and Canny. Don't think any real advantage was gained or lost for Knee Jogger. But Canny is all over the back of the championship leader right now. This is not what Knee Jogger needs. He's going to hold off Plux, who's at the moment going to get maximum points from this event. You see Grimlock. Fours has dropped right back to 11th after that incident on the first lap, but he's now making up paces again on the soft tyres. It's not what he really wanted. He probably wanted to try and, get near the front early on those tyres. And he's making good use of them now, steaming back through the field. Jules there. There's Mongino in 14th. He's just going to use those hard tyres, try and get back onto the end of the train during the pit stop phase and be consistent. That will help him get back towards the field, but a really unlucky start. And for Daz, it looked like Daz missed his braking point very slightly, and with the close proximity of the cars, that just caused a pinball effect on lap 1. As we see now, Plux out in front, looking like he's also, oh, not quite on a Sunday drive, that's a brush with the wall. V8's tyres, look at them already, halfway down after only 4 laps on that front left. And Gadget is trying to slowly haul him back in. Don't know if he's going to be close enough this time. The Audi TT is surprisingly good in a straight line. It does, of course, only have front-wheel drive, despite it being a four-wheel drive car in real life. They are very close. Miller, on the hard tyres, hasn't really shown much pace yet. He's been consistent. Look at that. The Veyron, with its extra 100 or so horsepower on top of the Audi. He's going for it down the inside. Can he make it stick? Not quite. But V8 has gone wider. He'll get him on the exit. The four-wheel drive power of the Bugatti. Much better up the hill. And he's going to have the inside line for the first of the flowing right-handers. But V8 is trying to make something of it, and he does sweep all the way back around the outside. Gadget will have to concede for now. That was a very, very brave move from Vendetta, but he has managed to hold on to position. We can see Mac now already closed up to 5th. He's dispatched Jammy. We didn't see that on the screen. Jammy with a little bit of lagging on there, but that's not too bad. Wilkinator in 7th. Another driver doing a good job, because this is his wild card race. In the Oakley car. Oh, we're on board now. Mac. Oh, past Muller. Wow, Muller must have got a terrible exit there for that to have happened. He's now right up behind the big Veyron. He'll have a harder time getting past that down the straight. It's a very wide car. Vendetta already struggling on those tyres. You can see he just cannot hold the speed, and it's allowing Plux to really run away with this. Of all the drivers not in the lead, it's going to be Mac who's going to be shouting at the steering wheel the most, because he knows he's got the pace to challenge Plux here, and at the moment Plux is getting away scot-free. Got a train here of 4 cars, 5 if you include Jammy, who's just holding onto the back of them and has looked good all race. Just through the tunnel now. Here's Gadget having another go. He looks like he got a better run than V8 this time through the fast right-hander, and now he's carrying that speed all the way down through the tunnel section. Just manages to hold on to the car through there, and that move is very much done. Max taking a look as well. This is a very brave move. It looks like maybe V8's going for the pits. Yes, he is. He dives into the pits knowing his tyres are done. We're only on lap 5. Mac therefore gets a pretty free position, and he's up to 3rd. Not bad for starting in 13th position. He's up 10 places. So we see a whole flurry of activity going on here. V8's come out back in 10th position, behind championship leader Nijogger, who still hasn't really got anywhere in that Atenza. Of course, the championship is run over 8 events. You carry the 6 best points finishes that you have during that time, and of course there's a point for fastest lap and for pole position at each round. Force is up to 7th now. He's had a great run. And you consider where he was at the beginning of the first lap, in a wall after being punted. And he's now having to hold on. Canny being very brave around the outside. Oh, big wall hit there from Canny. That's not going to help him down the hill. And here we see Vendetta on those fresh tyres, getting straight through. Yeah, Forza's had a great recovery drive now. I expect V8's going to outbrake Forza. Can he make it go around? Yes, all the way around the outside. He'll get on the power cleanly. He has to lift off through the second part. He does manage to hold it on. 3rd gear up to 4th now. 100 miles an hour. You're looking for about 100 miles an hour through this right-hand corner. If you can maintain that, you're in good stead. He's back out on those super soft tyres. He's trying to go for the hair approach, but he does have to deal with more traffic that way. Oh, as we can now see Grim under attack from Jules. See, using the slipstream, breaking out of it at the right time. He's managed to get the position that Nissan is quite good in a straight line. It's not the best, but it's good enough. Grim's tyres starting to fade. He is on soft tyres. Jules did start up on the hard tyres. He started up in 4th place, you remember. He got a very bad time of it. But we see Ford now bailing on those tyres. He should get another 6 laps of them. Takes on a little bit of fuel as well, it looks like. He's going to drop out second to last as Daz is still a long way down on the rest of the field. Mungino has now effectively taken a position after that awful start from Mungino, who had a great qualifying and was going for a long strategy. Can still use that long strategy. Jules, clips the wall there. That's going to cost him some time. A little bit of damage. Swings it through the left-hander. He's now got the Vulcanator under attack from the other Audi. This should be a fairly easy pass for Vendetta, looking at the difference in tyre grip. He's all over the back of him, probably giving him a small push through that corner. As the Vulcanator not on full throttle, letting him go through. He knows his tyres are going to be nowhere near as good. He's also lifting off probably to get rid of any small penalties he might have. That's why the car would have ghosted. And again, lift and coast. Try and burn some penalty, not lose too much time. You've got old tyres, there's no point trying to go for super lap times. Jamie's now of course back up to 5th with V8's pitting. Gadget up in 2nd, holding back the tide in the big Veyron. Muller holding on in a strong 4th position when you consider he's on a class down a tyre. He's doing a very good job. Expect the medium cars to run between 8 and 10 laps depending on the wear of the car. As we see now Jamie, he's also on mediums. And Vendetta closing them back in on those super soft tyres. He's just set the new fastest lap of the race as well. Should be a bonus point to him if he can hold on to that to the end of the race. Back up with the leaders here. It's very much a case of Gadget. It's really holding back the field, and it's allowing Plux to get a long way ahead. If you look, Plux is now almost half a sector ahead. He's almost coming across the line now. And the guys behind, you see Plux crosses the line now before they've even come through that final corner, so it's a big lead Plux has gained. It's around 11 seconds, 10 seconds I think at this point. It's going for the smooth line through the inside, holding around 105 to 110 miles an hour through that first corner. Gadget in 2nd place, like I said, holding back Mac, which is really going to be frustrating Mac. He's got a similar, all top 3 cars have got similar tyre wear, but that big gap that Plux has got means that he can now kind of relax, possibly save some fuel, because he's got that time in hand. We've seen Mac closing in down the straight, but he just can't quite do enough. He's having a small look, but he won't be able to get him from that far back. Oh, but Gadget has gone a little bit wide there. Very careful not to cut any of those dockside corners, but he has clipped the wall because of that. That's going to make him slow up the here, but this is really not an overtaking place. You want to really follow through here and try and get the exit speed, because down this straight, this is where all your pace is going to come from. If you drop back, Canny's now in 9th. I would have expected to see someone like Fours around here. It's interesting to see he's not right here. What's happened to Fours? Blimey, he's all the way down in 13th after that pit stop. What's happened here? He's had 2 slow lap times. What happened here? So Fours, this is lap 7. We're now on lap 8. He's pitted again. The lap after he's just pitted. No reason for him to do that. To find out some other time what's caused this strategy change. Maybe you put the wrong tyres on. So we now come back with Grim. He's doing a sterling job. Maybe propping up the field a little bit. He's getting their laps around. See Daz obviously having issues, not on the pace. but he was on the pace in qualifying, so I think something's happened. Jammy's now in the pit. Gadget's also now in the pit. He now goes out in hard tyres. He's got over half a tank of fuel. Ben's up to 7th. He's doing what he did in Tsukuba, but slowly moving up the field. Jules in 9th. We also briefly saw a new jogger. There's Wangino. He still hasn't pitted, but getting good pace. Canny's just come thundering out the pits. He's back on medium tyres. So we're now on lap 9. We're joining Plux. His tyres very worn on that front left. He's been pushing those a little bit too hard, I think, on the high fuel. We'll be able to get away with that later on. Yeah, very careful not to clip across those curbs. There's a 5-second penalty in that if you do it. Mac, a little bit better wear on those tyres. I didn't catch Plux's fuel level. Miller's used a lot more fuel than Mac, actually. That's one to note. Those hard tyres are much better Nick. He's now slowly closing him in. V8, look at those tyres already. He's already pitted once and he hasn't even caught up to the guy ahead. He'll have to pit soon. Gadget came back out and in 5th place. There's Knee Jogger, just ahead of just behind Jammy, just ahead of Ben. Slowly moving up the field, but he will have to pit at some point. Knee Jogger's needing a lot of help to get himself up into the podium positions. Just hasn't seemed to have had the pace and the Tenza in either round. And I think that's likely to be his change of car. However, someone who probably won't be changing his car is Jammy. He's had a fabulous race so far, really showing some good pace. This is the guy who came in round 2, had a dreadful race at Dragon Trail, but really showed some good promise. And since then he's worked his way up the field and he's looking more and more promising as a contender. Someone who's always a contender and won last time out is Gadget. If you want to get involved with the series, give Gadget 324 a ping. He's your man. As we're now back on board with V8, he's looking quite good on those super soft tyres, but they will of course wear. He pitted on lap 5, remember, so expect him not to go much first. Lap 10, a little less fuel in the car, he might get to lap 11. Muller, on those hard tyres, you can see as the mediums are wearing away on Mac's car, Muller's slowly being pulled back towards him. And really, this has been a great drive by Mac so far. Started so far down the field, back already up to 2nd. Mac's season has been very feast or famine. He's driven very fast, but at points had issues. Like the first race where he had a big spin at the start, never recovered. In the end had to park it. Muller's been very much the opposite. Hasn't quite had a race win, but has been knocking on the door for some time. Very good strategic racer, but not always had the best qualifying results. That's what's kind of let him down. That's what he'll be trying to up his game on, I think, for season 2. But still a great season from both these drivers. Mac, a bit more consistency and he'll be right at the front in for the points. And there's Plux. You can see the sparkled paint job on the car from the nighttime races. At the moment he's looking imperious out front. And the 5 car now coming towards. Could be pitting this time. And testings look like lap 10's been the optimal lap for most of the drivers at the front with medium tyres on. Or you can see he wouldn't have made the corner even if he hadn't been going into the pits. So he dives in this time. Let's see if he takes any fuel. He's still got over half a tank's worth, so I doubt he will. On board with Mac. Mac's doing the same, coming in this time. Muller's burnt a lot more fuel than Plux did. Plux is already back out. Here's Mac, he's got about half a tank. Vendetta goes through. Gadget also through, as is Jammy. Mac's gone for a very long pit stop, very long fuel stop as well. Back out on mediums. As we see championship leader Knee and Ben both in on the same lap. Knee's straight back out there. What tyres did he go for? Oh, we didn't quite catch that. Ben's going for a long fuel stop. It looks like the BMW's quite thirsty. Falls back in for another pit stop. Looks like he's had one but 4 laps ago, so another crazy strategy from Fours, and I think that's really letting him down. He's been another driver, very fast at times, but it's crazy strategies have really let him down. He's now behind Grim. Grim, usual commentator, everyone has a lot of respect for him in the series, for pootling around at the back, but putting out videos of us all charging around the track. So we're on board with Jules. He's a part-time driver in the series, but always looks quick. He's leading this train. He's got very worn tyres now. Under attack by Mangino, who I would imagine is still on his original set of hards. That's a good stint. Mac, with that longer pit stop, has dropped behind Mac. Sorry, not Mac. Mac can't drop behind himself. He's dropped behind Gadget and Jammy. Muller still hasn't pitted. Oh, and V8 Vendetta's jumped up to third, of course. So far, Gadget's strategies look good. He's now onto the hard tyres, but he hasn't got a huge amount of fuel, so this is probably going to be around 11 lap stint, I would imagine. Might take him towards lap 21. Of course, he pitted a couple of laps back. He pitted on lap 8, so maybe lap 19, 20 sort of time. V8 will probably be pitting this time, maybe the next time round. Those tyres are destroyed. Muller's still out there. He could get probably another lap out those tyres at decent pace. You can still see Plux. Plux hasn't had the best of outlaps, but all season long it's looked like he hasn't been that strong hitting those tyres out the pits. So we'd expect Plux to do better. As we see V8 in this time. Another quick stop. You see on this time. He's come back out on super soft tyres again. Knees on the super soft, so he's gone for a very flip-flop strategy, gone from the hardest compound now onto the fastest. As we see, oh, we've seen a bit of contact here. What's gone on here? Oh, Wilkinator's gone very deep trying to defend the position from Knee. That was a bit of a small mistake. Of course, less experienced driver in the D-Rex series, as this is a wildcard entry from Wilk. As we jump forward to the end of lap 11, Gadget's in third, being chased now by Jammy. Of course, Gadget's now on those hard tyres. Jammy's probably on the mediums, looking at the speed at which he's chased him down. That Veyron has just looked cumbersome all series, this time and in Tsukuba. Both times couldn't really get the best out of it. Jammy's got a great run. The Lexus has been very quick in a straight line. It's a bit of a surprise because it's not the smallest of cars. Not very low to the ground, but obviously gets great grunt. Pull side by side into the corner. It's going to be who's the big latest of the breakers. Gadget's gone later, blocks him off nicely. That was a good bit of defence there. And jumping a bit further around the same lap. There's Jammy going for it this time. Gadget's gone deep, and he can't cut back underneath. I think this is going to be a good taking the position from Jammy. We see Muller in the pits now. After that long stint, 12 laps, that's a very good stint. He's back out, this time on what looks like soft tyres. Gadget kicking himself a little bit, I think, for letting Jammy through. As you see, Jammy's on the medium tyres. It's a great drive by Jammy, really impressive stuff. We see Mac already on the back of him again. He's had fantastic pace. He set his own personal best the last time by. Looking like he's going faster again. And yes, he does, I think minorly. A minor improvement. Of course, in typical Gran Turismo fashion, we don't quite see the updated lap time. Oh no, we do now actually. Maybe it was slightly slower. He's got a great run on Gadget. Gadget's really left himself a little bit exposed here. I think going for a little bit light on fuel, he's definitely going to have to be fuel saving. He's trying to get another 10 laps or so out of that car. Mac trying to go all the way around the outside, and he's going to make that stick on the better grip. Gadget's not one to fight needlessly. He knows he's going to lose the position. He'd rather not cost himself time. He's always been a very careful and measured driver. Not the hottest of heads. Plux out front in the Cayman. It's really been a surprise package coming into this race. Of course, hasn't got the highest of power, but a very small aerodynamic cross section means it punches through the air quite well. Ooh, bit of a kick out from the rear there on the braking, little rear lock up. Get that car rotated around. There's a lot of different choices of lines through this tight hairpin. You'll see that from all the drivers if you pay attention through. Knee up to 7th now on those faster tyres, slowly clawing it back. very much been a case of Nijogger being the very fastest in qualifying, I think, across the series. He's really put in some staggeringly fast lap times, and just has been let down by a few strategic errors in that first race, if you remember back. He had the lead, and now Gadget to scare him off the road with the fresher tyres, and cost himself the race victory. There's Grim at the back. Now we're jumping forward. I think this might be a move for second place, sweeping up. Jamie's gone a little bit wide through there, and there's a wall hit there, yes. Mac's going to dive it through. I would have gone down the outside there, that's definitely the riskier side. But that's a very good move there from Mac, very opportunistic, scared Jamie into a small error. And it only takes a small wall hit here and you're losing a couple of seconds, plus you can pick up a penalty if you hit it too hard. Oh, a little lock up there from Mac though. Managed to get it done. Now on board with Muller, under attack from V8. V8's tyres are probably going to start going off the cliff. This might be his one chance to get through on him. He lost a lot of speed through there. He had the run, but he didn't quite get that right. Here comes V8 with a big dive. A little bit of contact there. Pushing a bit of a chrome horn through there. He's definitely let him back through. Jamie's pitted. That's a little bit early. I wouldn't have expected him to pit there, but he did pit earlier than the others on the medium tyre earlier in the race. V8 graciously letting Muller back through. He knew he was in the wrong. A bit too much bumping. Try and keep this series as clean as possible. And all the drivers are very respectful. Incidents occur, as long as people own up and let people back through. As we jump forward now with Plux. This is lap 15. And really, he hasn't seen a car for about 14 of those laps. Mac in second, now pulling away from Gadget. We expect him to chase down Plux if he can get together. Both having consistent lap times in the 206s. Very evenly matched. Gadget in third, being dropped a little bit, but his strategy at the moment isn't really all guns blazing. There's Muller now on the softs. His strategy very much is guns blazing. He's going for it as much as he can, trying to claw back some of that time he lost at the end of his hard tyre stint. Oh, he's gone purple in that first sector. He's looking very good. Anything under a minute for the first sector is a very good time. When you're considering he's not on fresh tyres, this isn't a qualifying lap, he might be doing a little small bit of fuel saving. This is a great lap so far in the Red Bull BMW. Another bit of a surprise package. It didn't run well in Tsukuba. A lot of drivers didn't expect it to be quite so potent here in Tokyo, but it's another great drive by Muller. And again, still purple. I believe it's still V8's lap, which is the fastest so far. And look how much he's closed in Gadget. Gadget, of course, low fuel, but not the best tyre compound on the hards. You see how much tighter Muller can take that apex. He can get the power earlier. Doesn't matter how much grunt that Veyron's got. If he can't get on the power early enough, he's going to be a sitting duck. We're now back on board with Muller. I think this might be a move into the dock section. Had a little fake. I think that was to just force Gadget wide. And now he's got the run. He's, slower in, but faster out. The old adage. Very good run down there. He might even take it. No, you can just see. There it is, right there. That's the point at which the Veyron's power outmatches the BMW's acceleration out the corner. He's going to have to dive it down the inside. Can he make that stick on the cutback? No, he's going to have to pull out of that. Very good defence by Gadget, allowing the door to just be a little bit open, but then shutting it before he can really get the BMW's nose in there. Beautiful driving by Gadget. As we go down the order a little bit, we see Fours in 10th, Ben in 9th. Some good driving from those two. Canny's dropped a little bit off in 11th. Seems like that early pace has slightly dropped off, but he is now on some very old, worn-out mediums. Mungino in 12th, slowly picking his race back together. Jules has just not had a very... Oh, he's just pitted, that's why he's fallen so far behind. Very unfortunate race for Jules. In that old BTCC inspired livery. So we're now back with tunneler again in the tunnel. We've seen this clip before. I think this is going to be a dive down into the hairpin. He's got the run. Oh, he's just touched the wall. Can he maintain the speed? It's going to be a bold dive. Here he goes. Burned out of a little bit of whatever penalty he might have gained at some point. But yeah, Gadget's very much overstepped the mark on those hard tyres. And that Veyron, it's good on the brakes, but it's still a heavy lump of car. And it's hard to get it pulled up. We see V8 again stopping. We're over halfway through the race. Jogger pitting as well on those supers. They're completely destroyed, those on the Atenza. Wilkinator looking like he might be going in the pits as well this time. Yep, he's in. And that moves Ben. Fours, he's also in the pits again. Mangino stays out. He's going to jump up a lot of positions. He's on the medium tyres at the moment, but he started on hards, ran long, and it's looking good for him. Jumping forward a little bit now onto lap 17, we see Ben up in 7th. Ben's another driver who's shown some really good pace, but has had zero luck. Mangino's had the worst luck probably of anybody on the first lap. Oh, Jogger pushing very hard on his fresh tyres. He's probably changed tyres. Yes, he's gone to racing hard, so he's got used to the grip of the super softs. And he's flip-flopped back the other way onto hards. Wilkinator through there. Good first solid outing in the D-Rex series. Fours. I can't explain what he's going for on strategy. It looks like he actually ran a little bit longer on those tyres. And McLaren, it's a very strange car, the Group 4 McLaren. Canny, just pitted. Had a great start, which was very hard for him to get away from Jules all race. Both Nissans. Of course, Jules had that problem on the first lap, but punted into the wall, no fault of his own. Was caught up in the incident. Qualified 4th, had a great looking car. It's just been very unlucky. The car hasn't quite had that long run pace. We see Ben in the pits now. That BMW's been drinking again. Really went down the downside. I think Willow's found the same problem. BMW's a little bit thirsty. Canny there goes for the wide line in, cut back in and get on the power early on using that 4-wheel drive system. Fours, like I was saying, the McLaren Group 4 car is very, very strange. It always feels like it's understeering, in my opinion. There's Wilkinator. You can't take anything away from Wilkinator. He stayed out of trouble. He's had a good race in his wildcard slot in the Oakley car, and it's a difficult car to drive, that GT, because it's front wheel drive. It loses grip at the front very quickly. So we're back on board with Mung. Like I say, he's had bad luck all season. Showed good pace at times. He's had a couple of excellent qualifyings, and then just keeps being the man in the incident at the start. Of course, Mangino is quite the well-known livery designer. He's got a lovely livery there on the Mobile 1 monster cars. He does all sorts of liveries for some of the big YouTubers, Tijni, I believe he does some for the Kai25 as well. So, yeah, he's a well-respected livery designer and a good driver as well. Just see Jammy in the gold car. It's always a bold thing, a bold claim to drive a gold car, I think. But I mean, in this race, Jammy's really showing good pace. Gadget there in the Sigma livery. It's quite recognisable now. Yellow with the black and red stripe. He's missed a couple of crucial rounds, I think Gadget has. Missed round 2. Missed round 5, the last race in the Group 1 cars. Closing down Mac again. These two have been very inseparable. Yours was Gadget. I didn't actually notice this before, but look at the fuel on Gadget. He's going to have to probably pit this time round. But that does mean he could probably eke out enough. I mean, we've got, how long? We've got 20 minutes left. He might just be able to get around on a set of medium tyres to the end. Jammy in 5th place. Some nice points for him. You can see when the cars are ghosting, it means they're probably getting rid of it. Oh, he's just clipped that corner a little bit. That will be a little bonus to his penalty. It's a got to be very careful with that dock section. But yeah, when you see the cars ghosting under braking, it means that they're probably burning off a little bit of penalty. I think this race, every single driver got a small penalty of some sort. It could have been only half a second, could have been 5-6 seconds. We all know that the penalty system isn't exactly perfect, but it does at least stop people from running that dock section quite so aggressively. Mac, look at those tyres, they're burning away. He hasn't had something to answer. Plux is out there, about 20 odd seconds ahead now. Gadget, yes, as we thought, he's coming through into the pits. Take the position, but of course he'll have to pit at some point in the next 5, maybe 4 or 5 laps. As the Veyron drinks some more fuel in. Create a little bit of lag there. Almost looked like he had a oversteer in a front-wheel drive car. Oh, very close together up the on ramp. A little bit argy-bargy it looked, but probably there was more distance between them. Of course, cameras foreshorten the distances. Mangino comes in. Oh, he's had a big issue. Look at the red damage flashing. Didn't catch that on camera. Looks like he's hit a wall at some point because that's red. I mean, it could very well have been just on the way into the pits. Maybe just slightly overstepped the mark, which is not so bad. But if he's had to run around half a lap with damage on the front, well, that's going to cost him a lot of time. You see him just out ahead of Jules and Canny. These two have been very close all race. Jules just getting ahead of Canny now. Canny's got the better tyres, he's running the hards. They'll slowly come towards him. And there's Grim. Just holding onto the tail of the lead lap there as we see Plux. And that fuel, Plux is coming in this time. Max about 20 seconds behind him. Interesting this time to see how much fuel they will need to take on. Of course, Plux has run his car almost dry. Max still got about a quarter of a tank in there. Oh, Plux just about holds it on the way in. That was very lucky. Looked like he was right on the limit of adhesion. So this is basically for the race. Will Max stay up this time? Try and hold Plux up. Plux is taking on 44 litres. Max coming in a bit hot there. Oh, and he's absolutely clattered into the wall there and has allowed Muller through, who's going to say thank you very much, I'll have a piece of that. Both in on the same lap. Max got a lot more fuel though. There's Jammy. Probably will come out in between Mac and Muller, I think. Mac will be out fairly shortly. No, he's managed to jump both of them. Here comes Mac now. It's up to 58 litres of fuel, so you can see the Porsche Cayman is being less thirsty than even the Lambo, but then again Plux can't get away with a lot more fuel saving as we come up the hill now. They're all closed up again. Of course, Gadget was the first to pit. We go on board with 4s now. The Orkinator looking back through the field a little bit. See Ben down in 10th. That's still a points paying position though. Those are valuable points. And he's missed a few rounds, so any points will help him jump up. There's Mangino just outside the points right now. If he can just have a little bit more luck, he'll get some points. There's Jules. Same for him. He is pulled away from Canny. I think Canny's had a poor lap. He's going to have to close him back down. With the fresher tyres, they may be hards, but they're much fresher than those mediums. And there's Grim. So he's just coming for a pit stop. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle from Plux there. Using those fresh tyres. Of course, lowest fuel of the race that Plux will have. And maybe a little bit twitchy the Cayman is at this point. You can see how much more on the nose the car is as we go through this section. If you remember back to the start of the race, cars looked heavy with fuel, they were lethargic. Now those cars nippy, front end turning in nicely, getting on the power earlier, because the car's not weighing as much, they're accelerating better. And they just feel so much better. There's Plux with a 206.1. He hasn't quite dropped into the 205s yet. There's Mac. Again, a little bit different style Mac and Plux have. Oh, there's I think a small wall hit there for Mac. That's going to cost him some time on the run down. But after 45 minutes of racing, we've got, what is that? Maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds between second, third and fourth. And that just shows you the class of the field, really. I mean, all these drives have been great. If you think Plux only got a long way ahead of Mac because of the grid positions. Covington had no battles. But in terms of pure pace, a lot of these drivers have been almost identical. Like I said earlier, driver's room. This is our endurance championship on Thursday. Oh, a good little battle here between the two, second and third. Who's going to have the middle step on the podium? Miller's managed to zip through there. He's going to have to come back at him. Didn't quite see the beginning of that. It might have been a small wall touch. And Miller is on soft tyres, just trying to now scamper away. But we've seen the BMW gets to 7th gear and it kind of runs out of grunt. On the Huracan, the Lamborghini, a bit better. Up into 7th gear now, it's got a bit more grunt out of that V10 engine. See, it's all over the back of him. He's going to go probably for a big dive down the inside, unless Miller covers it off. No, he doesn't. Here he comes. He's got the overlap. And no, Miller's gone really deep, I think. He's forced him into a mistake, and he's only just misses the pit entry wall. What a shame for Miller. He had such a great run, got into second, and he's blown it a little bit. He's going to have to do all that work again, if he can, if those tyres will still let him have that sort of pace. Before I interrupted myself, I was talking about how you can get involved with Drivers Room. We've got 2 championships. This is our Thursday Endurance Championship, held by Gadget, man on screen. We also have a Sunday League as well, which is run on the same tracks but an assortment of different vehicles. If you want to get involved in either series, contact Gadget334 for this Thursday series, and for the Sunday series contact MJR Mercer, who's not running tonight. He's a regular of the series as well. Really, it's just great clean racing. If you're fed up with driving dailies and doing the FIA series and dealing with people who are unsportsmanlike in their racing behaviour, then come drive Drivers Room. We're a friendly bunch. We've seen a few instances today, but nothing that looked malicious, and that's the big difference. Is any instance that have come about in this race, people let off, people let them back through, and there's some courteous etiquette. And really, it's just good, hard, clean racing. Except for this guy out front. He said nothing to worry about. He hasn't seen another car for probably 20 odd laps. Ooh, again, big wiggle. Plux has finally dropped it down into the 205s now. And there's Mac with Miller straight behind him. Again, I think it's a matter of time before Miller's tyres drop off. He needs to get ahead, otherwise he's going to struggle to maintain that pace. I think he needed those soft tyres to get onto the back of Mac. Again, Mac looking like he's locking up. He is running ABS, so it shouldn't be possible for him to do a true lock-up. There's a little puff of smoke that comes off those tyres. And there's Plux. There's also a little bit of pace this time. Might have taken a little bit out of those tyres, out of that, after doing the 205 and a low 206 the lap before. As you see, V8, he's changed his strategy. He's gone from running supers. You can see there's quite a lot of scratches on that car. He's been clattering some walls and really has dropped off the pace a little bit down in 7th. He's allowed knee jogger up into 6th. As you see, 4's finally up into a good position. There's the Wilkinator also going into the pits. Of course, this track is fairly unique in the fact that the pit lane is halfway around the lap. This is both true, I think, for this version and the outer loop version. It's made for a very useful feature in qualifying. If you'd blown your lap, then you could get straight in there. change your tyres and go straight back out on a fast lap. You didn't have to do a warm-up lap, which for a track with such a long lap was really very useful for all these drivers. Ben, oh, very wide through there, manages to keep it out of the wall. Of course, it's got much fresher tyres, I think, than Mungino, and definitely got a good compound. As you can see, Mungino's on the hards and they're a little bit worn. Yeah, both these drivers up 9th and 10th, that's some points. I'll be very interested in that, but Wilkinator just pitted. He can't score points. It's important to note. Everyone will move up one position if he finishes in the points. It's just a wildcard entry, that's why he hasn't got the D-Rec boards on the side. He doesn't have a race number. Canny's out there. 12th. It's not a points playing position, but it's been a good, clean race from Canny. His best race of the season, I believe Canny's came in round 5. Last time out in the Group 1 cars. You see Grim, he's finally been caught up by Flux. I mean, this is going to be different for Flux. He hasn't been behind a car all race. He's going to have to deal with the slipstream and the dirty air effect for the first time. Let's see if he can manage to get through there without too much problem. It's a little flash of the lights there, just letting him know he's there. The number 5 cars look fairly safe out there. So that is the Cayman as a car. There's a flash again. Grim will know. There's no reason to let him through at this point. He'll probably lift out early into the dock section and let Plux dive it down the inside. On the fresher tyres, more confidence. Another flash. Watch from behind. Oh, Plux has gone a little bit hot there. And the cameraman's absolutely lost it. Oh! They managed to just about keep that out of the way. That could have gone very badly wrong for Plux. I think he kept it off the wall, but he would have picked up a small penalty, I think, for that, because running off that far wide isn't good in the eyes of the stewards. They'll bang you with a little penalty there. You're on lap 25 now. Gadget's dropped off on those medium tyres. You can just see the Veyron in comparison. Both four-wheel drive, Veyron versus Lambo, and just that extra weight. Doesn't handle as sweetly. And I really think Gadget will be out of that Veyron at the end of the season. He'll be picking up something different, I think. There are rumours possibly the new Toyota Supra will be coming to Group 4, but there's a lot of other cars available in Group 4 that have looked good. This Lexus, for one, really driven very well by Javi, up in 5th position. Definitely, in my opinion, probably been the driver of the day. He started right at the back, up to 5th place. He's not usually one of the front runners, and he's just driven a really strong race. Someone who hasn't had a strong race, but then again hasn't looked like he's in a strong car, is Knee Jogger. He's really struggled both times we've been out in the Atenzo. I think he'll be selling that on eBay for a £5. Other auction sites are available. There's Fours again. Mad strategy seemed to be his bane. Then again, it also makes it very easy to talk about Fours, because you just talk about the strategy inconsistency. Sometimes he has a really good strategy, sometimes he seems to pit an awful lot, and I don't really know why. Oh, Van clips a wall. That's going to allow the Wilkinator, who's on super soft tyres, with only 4.5 minutes left of the race. Comes steaming through. Like I say, this won't actually impact the points, and would get the points. It's gone very wide. Those tyres look absolutely shot. Canny and Jules, big gap between them now. Clock starting, coming across the line onto lap 27. There's Mac in 2nd place. So I think that early issue really put pay to any chance Mac had of not being able to start in his actual grid qualifying spot. He had to spend so much time coming back through the field that he just couldn't catch him. He could match his pace, they've had a very similar race pace, just that big old gap at the start of the race has absolutely put a spanner in the works for Mac. And there's V8. Had a good start, but of course running super soft tyres as I mentioned it. 2 laps before the end, we've got Fours back in the pits, not really sure why, but Fours will be Fours. There's Mungino going up the up ramp. Down in 11th place. Can he get round fours? Yes, he can. Of course, that longer run up the hill gives him a good chance, but those tyres, they're in a lot of trouble. So of course we get in. I mean, look at the difference in grip. Is he going to try and go around the outside? No. Or he might do. He might have a look on the exit. No, it's going to be down into the first corner, I think. Forza is quite aggressive in his overtaking style. You've got to be wary of that. It's not unfair, it's just aggressive. Nothing wrong with it if he pulls the move off. I think he's just like Mangino, make a mistake all of his own. Look at that. Down the inside, force Mangino to go wide to cover up the inside. You can just put it down the inside once Mangino was up, out of position. But again, that's the difference between the McLaren and the Jag. The Jag is very good in a straight line. He'll have nothing on the outside there. Maybe if he held the inside he would have had a chance. But around the outside on hard tyres at this point in the race is not going to happen. Grimm's parked it. And we're now on lap 27. Forza's already caught right back up to the back of Vulcanator, who's on supers, but very worn supers. Is he going to get 2 for 2? Oh, banged the wall there. That's going to cost him an entry. But he has got better tyres. Expect to see him... Oh, is he going around the outside? Did someone down the inside? Now he's doing them around the outside. Beautiful move by Forza. And this is what I mean, is his strategy is such bananas. And he keeps costing himself great chances. Mangino having an issue out the final corner there. There's Canny and Jules. They're racing at full speed. I think Mangino's trying to run the clock out. He is letting the others through. Oh, blimey, I've just seen Canny's fuel. It seems to be almost non-existent. He's going to have to be very careful. And there's Jules again. These two have been inseparable all race. Jules on the worst tyres, but I think Canny's having to fuel save. So as we come down the final corner... Oh, no. As we come through the final corner now, Plux does. It's been a lovely drive from him, really controlled it, easy time, and just cruises home, around 20 seconds ahead. Max had a great race, done a great job, but starting at the back really cost him a chance for a win, but a strong podium after a few challenging races for Mac. And he's had a couple of good results on the bounce, showed great pace here. There's Miller in third, he's pleased with that. Strong drive, Gadget fourth, not bad. And Jammy there in fifth. An excellent result in my opinion. Of course, Gadget had the win last time out. I might have incorrectly mentioned earlier that we were in the Group 1s. We weren't. We were at Brands Hatch in the Group 3s last time out, and he won there. Plux won the week before. As we look at Vendetta here, he had a strong race when you consider he started in 5th, finishes 6th. That's not a bad race at all. Knee jogger, that's really cost him in 7th position. That's not going to be too many points. He's probably going to lose the championship lead. As we see Ben there. Good race from him. Remember, he was languishing down at the back early on. 8th place, he'll take that. Some good championship points. 4's in 9th. There's the Vulcanator. He won't count the scoring. So it'll be Jules who's going to hold on for the final points playing position. Canny just missing out. Both Nissans look like they're absolutely on the last dregs of fuel. I think they're both running it in possibly mixed 6. I mean, I think Canny's run out of fuel there. Or he's trying to burn off the last of his penalty. Anyways, we come and look at the results now. We see Plux on 100 points in the lead. And I believe at this point has won the championship. So well done to him. Muller moves up to 2nd on 87 points. Knee Jogger in 3rd and Gadget in 4th. I'll catch us next time for the finale. Plux is champion, but who's going to take 2nd and 3rd in the championship? Thank you very much.